let's be very clear. God is still on the throne, okay? He sits high but looks low, all right? And Christ said, I'm come that they might have life, that might have it more abundantly. He wants you to have the abundant life here on earth right now. Check out John 10:10, the second half. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. So here is a tremendous blessing. Today is Sunday, November 23rd, 2022. Thank you, American people, for electing Congressman-elect Frost, an Afro-Cuban who understands Matthew 25, who understands the oneness of all humanity, who understands everyone needs food in their stomach, shoes on their feet, clothes on the back, shelter overhead, free healthcare. You have your own healthcare? Great, keep it, okay? College forgiveness of student loans, right? And we need to have free state college. That's me, okay? As well as universal health care and everything that will uplift people, make life better. Wall Street got their trillions. It's time to take care of Main Street.
The first member of Gen Z has been elected to Congress. At only 25 years old, Congressman-elect Maxwell Alejandro Frost will represent Florida's 10th district. Frost first appeared on The Sunday Show last year to discuss his run, highlighting the importance of gun violence prevention. As he prepares to take office in January, his celebration began with a shout out from President Biden.
I was pleased to call Maxwell Frost, a 25-year-old who got elected, I guess the youngest man ever elected to the United States Congress. I have no doubt he's off to an incredible start and what I'm sure will be a long, distinguished career.
Earlier this morning, I spoke with Florida's new Congressman-elect. Congressman-elect Maxwell Alejandro Frost. Welcome back to The Sunday Show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
How does it feel to hear that Congressman-elect?
I know. I mean, it's completely surreal. I feel incredibly blessed, humbled. I mean, I remember the election night watch party. We had hundreds of our supporters around us, and really, that's what I'm taking with me, just thinking of all those faces, everyone who really put a lot on the line to make sure that we won this.
So you are part of what I call the Parkland generation. And when I heard you were running for Congress, I said, let's get him on television.
Yep.
Let's hear what he has to say. And I'm just going to claim credit. We were the first ones to put you on national television, and you impressed all of us. And we kept inviting you back. Talk to us about the campaign, what it was like now that you've run the race, you've won the race, the experience.
Well, you know, we launched August 11th of last year, so we've been doing this for over a year and a half, or about a year and a half. It's been very difficult. There were a lot of trying times, a lot of hard decisions, but at the end of the day, like I said before, it was really about the team that we built. I mean, it was my name on the ballot, but it was really a whole movement of people in Central Florida and really across the country that came together to make it happen. I'm happy Election Day is come and gone. I'm really excited to represent my community in Congress.
How does it feel to make history? You're the first Gen Z to be elected to Congress.
You know, I didn't run to be the first Gen Z member of Congress. You know, obviously ran to represent my district, but it's an incredibly important part of the story, right? Like Gen Z and millennials make up a third of this country. We're nowhere near a third of this country's government, both locally and nationally, and think we need to change that.
You had a conversation with President Biden after your election win. What did he say to you?
Well, the first thing he told me was that he was elected when he was 29 to the Senate, and that he had to wait for his birthday to be sat and to be sworn in. So he asked me if I have to wait for a birthday. I told him, no, Mr. President, you have me beat on that. Like, I'm already 25. I can be sat immediately, but obviously waiting for January 3rd.
You know, you tweeted that there needs to be continued organizing with young voters and discussion on important issues to keep this trend moving in the right direction. Despite Florida's red wave in this election, because if there was a red wave in this country, it was in Florida. Do you see a generational shift in the future?
I do. And we saw that, you know, Gen Z, younger millennials voted for Democrats. I think it was about 63, 64%. I think we're going to continue to see that number rise because we're voting for the party that's fighting for a livable world. We're voting for the party that's fighting to end gun violence. We're voting for the party that's fighting to make sure that everyone has health care. And what we're going to see is, number one, Gen Z, half of us aren't even old enough to vote yet. Yeah, I mean, the youngest Gen Zer is like 13 years old. So this is really exciting to me. And I just want to make sure as Democrats that we're continuing to put forth bold solutions, things like canceling student debt, things like ensuring we're combating the climate crisis, to make sure that we excite that base, tell them that we're looking forward to working for future generations, and organize year round with young people. So when it's election time, we don't have to convince them to vote. We just have to remind them.
So I'm writing this down. You said student debt, climate. What
Yeah.
other issues do you want to work on now that you're going to be in Congress?
Yeah, definitely student debt and the climate crisis. I'll also say ending gun violence. You know, I'm a survivor
Right,
of
of
gun
course.
violence. It's very important to me. I got involved in this fight 10 years ago because of the Sandy Hook shooting. And so for me, I mean, we live in a country where the leading cause of death for children is guns. And that's unacceptable. So that's something we have to work to end. The other thing is the economy. And this is kind of, a broad thing, right? I want to make sure that everybody in this country, one of the richest countries on the face of the earth, have their basic necessities met, have health care, have a decent wage, have a union representing them, have more power, both in the workplace and as consumers. And I think that really is the key to solving a lot of our issues.
What committees do you want to be on? Have you been focused on that yet?
A little bit, I want to be wherever I can really serve my constituents. So looking forward to see where that is, but I have a lot of different interests on it.
I just want to note that you said you got involved in the gun violence issue with 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You were 15. When you were 15 and you got involved, was this even in the cards?
Running for office?
Running for office?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was really I wanted to be an organizer. I just wanted to bring people together. I wanted to use arts and culture and music and everything I loved to make a difference. And what's funny about that? Someone tweeted at me a few weeks ago saying, he said he got involved 10 years ago. He was 15. We live in a country where, 15-year-olds are getting involved because we don't want to get shot at school. And that's a shame. And so there's just a lot of work we have to do.
You're Afro-Latino.
Yeah.
How important is it to you, or has it hit you yet, who you've become now to other Afro-Latino kids?
I mean, we know there are so many Black Latinos out there, and I love being a Black Latino because I have the opportunity to really understand a lot about the different culture, especially in Central Florida, that we have growing Latino population, growing population of Black folks. And what I always say as far as being a Latino is concerned is, it's all about familia, bringing people together. I remember driving down to Hialeah to really spend time with my family, and everyone was eating, and everyone was dancing, and everyone was very joyful. And we should take that and put it in our politics, right? And have a politics that's about everybody and everything and everyone.
Y'all see why he was elected? Congressman-elect Maxwell Alejandro Frost, congratulations. Thank you for coming back to the Sunday Show.
Of course, I appreciate it.
Next, sounding off to the other Sunday shows, but first a programming note. MSNBC Films presents From Devil's Breath from Academy Award-winning director Orlando Van Eisendel and producer Leonardo DiCaprio. The film, part of the documentary series The Turning Point, zeroes in on the extraordinary community of survivors of the deadly 2017 wildfires in Portugal and an inspiring path forward in the climate change fight. Watch From Devil's Breath tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC and streaming on Peacock.
The Lord has blessed us with Generation Z, Congressman-elect. We're blessed.